Do you like chowder? I love it. I love fish chowder, clam chowder, shrimp chowder, any kind of chowder there is, I'm in. I'm going to show you how to make one with fish that you can buy in the regular grocery store and a little bit better for you ingredients that I think you're going to love. So I'm starting here with my pot on the stove already, and in it I have the 3 ingredients right here. I have a chopped bell pepper, some celery, and some yellow onion. You know, I usually use red onions. Shane and I love them, but because of the color, I decided to use yellow today. So they've been cooking down for about 7 or 8 minutes in 3 tablespoons of olive oil, and they're soft and translucent, and they're just beautiful now. So on with the recipe. Next up, I'm gonna put in about a half a cup of whole wheat flour. And I'm just gonna sprinkle it over my aromatics, my onions, my red pepper, and my celery. And the reason I'm using the whole wheat flour is this is what's gonna thicken my chowder without having to add any other ingredients like cream. I'm gonna just use a little milk, and in fact today I'm using oat milk. Isn't that fun? Love oat milk. It's really creamy like whole milk. All right, so now I've got that in there. I'm gonna go ahead and turn up my little burner here a little bit. Now I've got a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. I'll set that over to the side. And you see as I'm putting it in, I'm just kind of stirring around. And now I have something that's probably familiar to you. I have Old Bay seasoning. Now they have a regular Old Bay and they have a hot Old Bay. You know me, I like the hot, but if you like the regular, go ahead and go for it. Old Bay seasoning is very traditional in the Northeast, and we're gonna capture that flavor in this chowder. So I've got all these ingredients in there now. Now it's time, oops, let me put in some salt and pepper. So I'm gonna put in a good, probably half teaspoon of salt and about the same amount of freshly ground black pepper. And you know, we love that freshly ground flavor of pepper because if you're not grinding it yourself, you're using what? Black dust, right? So get rid of that red and white tin in your cabinet and grind your own pepper. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. I hope I don't sneeze now because I just really smelled it. All right, now it's time to put in my milk. So like I said, I'm using a cup oat milk this time, and I'm using a cup of oat milk. And that together with the whole wheat flour is going to really, really thicken up this chowder so it tastes very authentic. So there is my 1 cup of oat flour, and again I'm going to turn this up so I can get it going so you don't have to watch me stir for quite so long. Okay, and it's even a pretty color from that red pepper. So wow, did that thicken up? Can y'all see that? Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in 4 cups of veggie stock. So here is my, ooh, I'm spilling. 4 cups of veggie stock. I'm gonna stir when I put it in, and I'm gonna put this in, and then I'm gonna grab a towel and clean up my mess. And y'all, this is not just plain old veggie stock. I actually made fish stock out of my vegetable stock. And I did that by keeping my shrimp shells. I keep shrimp shells in a bag in the freezer, just like the ingredients that we keep the ends and pieces of vegetables. And that way I can make my own fish stock or shrimp stock. And you can buy shrimp stock. I noticed the other day they even have a stock in the grocery store that's called not shrimp or not fish stock. It's a vegan alternative that actually is actually, it tastes pretty good. I saw it in the grocery store, I bought it, and it actually tastes pretty good. It's got a lot of seaweed in it. Oh my goodness, I got everything stocky here. All right, so we're just gonna keep stirring this for just a moment. And it's a pretty color because I can see the black pepper in here. I can see the red pepper that I sauteed, and it smells great too with all that, those aromatics, the celery, the onion, and the red pepper, and also with that Old Bay seasoning. Okay. You know, a lot of times we think of chowder as super, super thick, but really a traditional fish chowder is not as thick as that. It is a little bit thinner. And when our chowder comes up to a simmer, or a boil, I'm gonna turn it to a simmer, and then I'm gonna let it cook for about 10 minutes. So I'm just stirring away. Now we're adding a couple things into the chowder that you may have had in like a potato chowder before. We're adding in some just little potatoes, some little red potatoes that I have chopped pretty finely. Not super fine, but you know, let me show you the size. So in a size about that size, and it's 2 cups of little red potatoes. And then we're also adding in about a cup of defrosted corn. I do that because I like the balance between the potatoes and the corn. And you know, I've had such good corn chowders here in the South. So I wanted to shake it up a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about, all right, we're almost to a boil, yay. I'll stop stirring and maybe it'll come to a boil a little bit faster. I wanted to talk a little bit about the fish. So our fish today, and we're using about a pound, and you can use cod, haddock, flounder, and my fish today was frozen fish because that was what was easy to find. It was actually wet, it was USA, and it was just, it looked delicious, and actually even raw, it looks really good. So don't be afraid of frozen fish. Often frozen fish is frozen on the boat where it's caught. So frozen fish is a great alternative to trying to find fresh fish. And you know, we're in Atlanta, we don't find that much fresh fish around here unless it is lake caught, like up in North Georgia, or river caught, or if we are lucky enough to go down to Savannah and get some fresh fish down there. So I'm gonna, oh look, I'm starting to get a little burble here. Okay. One of the things I think I'll do while I'm waiting for this is I think I'm gonna grab a spoon and I'm gonna taste this and see if I need any more salt and pepper. And I'm gonna go just on the very top so that I don't burn myself when I taste. Oh, wow, y'all. That has got so much flavor. I think it's because we use the Old Bay seasoning, and the Worcestershire adds so much of that flavor of what we call umami into it. And then that black pepper. Yum, this is gonna be so good. Wish you were here to try it with me. Okay, I'm getting it going now. All right, so now I'm gonna add the rest of my ingredients, which are the potatoes. And since I've cut them small, you do not, you don't have to cook this chowder for as long a time. It should only take 10 or 15 minutes for these potatoes to get nice and soft. So there's my potatoes. Next up, I'm gonna put in my corn, and I'm gonna cook these together until those potatoes get done. So let me stir. I'm gonna bring it back up to a simmer, and then we're gonna let it simmer for a minute before we put in our fish. This looks so good, y'all. The little red potatoes, the red pepper, just pretty. And I'm telling you, it tastes delicious. I didn't think I needed any salt at that point, but also remember that we're putting in a pound of fish. So that fish hasn't been salted or flavored at all. So we'll probably need a little bit more salt in here. And probably, I like pepper, so probably a little more pepper too. All right, I'm almost up to a simmer again. When I come up to a simmer again, if we weren't filming this, I would leave this for about 10 minutes. I'd walk away, turn it a little bit lower. But since we're filming today, I'm gonna go ahead and put in my fish. Remember, before you wanna get all the flavors mingled and melded before you put in the fish. And I'll tell you a secret. I actually cooked my potatoes beforehand so I could show you this in a short video. So you weren't there twiddling your thumbs going, oh my gosh, she's still not done. So my potatoes were cooked ahead of time. Okay, so here comes my fish. Because it was frozen, I've got a lot of liquid in here. So I'm gonna carefully take my fish out without spilling it like I spilled the fish stock or the veggie stock that I made into shrimp stock using my shrimp shells. I went ahead and put that liquid in there because, you know, that's gonna taste fishy too, and I like that idea, right? Okay, we're gonna cook and stir this for just about another minute, and then I'm gonna taste for salt and pepper, and then I'm gonna show you how I serve this yummy chowder up. I serve it up with fresh dill, and I serve it up also with some grape tomatoes. And the reason I do that is because those grape tomatoes add not only color, you know, everything needs a little bit of red or a little bit of color, and it adds not only color, but also tomatoes have good acidity. And that good acidity is what we want to balance the other flavors in the chowder. And believe it or not, it will not take long for this fish to cook in here. Oh my goodness, because I cut the fish chunks in about the same size as I cut the potatoes. You know, that's the secret to having things cook well together, is having everything you can about the same size. So let's take a look. You'll know that the fish is done when it is firm to the touch, and it's also no longer translucent. It's gonna be opaque and firm to the touch. That's how you know fish is done. Okay, I'm gonna, pardon the pun, I'm gonna fish out a piece of fish. Oh my gosh. See, it's already done. Only took a couple minutes. I do need some more salt in here. Remember, after I salted it before, I added in so many other ingredients that were pretty bland, like the potatoes and the corn. That was frozen corn that was defrosted. And yes, indeed, it does need some more pepper as well. Okay. I say it's ready to be put in the bowl. And I'll use my ladle this time. So here it goes in the bowl. It's got so many pretty colors. Oh my gosh, y'all, it just looks delicious. There we go. And then on top of it, oops, I'm gonna put, that's a little hot, so I am gonna grab this. On top of my bowl of fish chowder, I'm gonna put a few of my beautiful tomatoes and a lot of dill. You could, of course, add some lemon to this or pass some lemon around for your guests, because who doesn't love a little lemon in fish? But here it is. This is the fish chowder. No cream, a little bit better for us, colorful and full of veggies. I really hope you enjoy it.